Vandeham Sri Guru Shiyata Parakamlam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaraganatam Bitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Rana Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishakam Vitam Sya Om Agyana Timiranda Shagyana Jana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhistam Supurakam Guraganara Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shri Rupa Patanagam Govinda Vidam Ujwalam Varatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Shah Divyat Bhagavat Premna Vibijapradam Devam Divyatanum Suchanda Bharanam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Banditam Shivaram Marega Sharanam Yashishvara Sridharam Manshakopatarubyasya Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Goratabhishe Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami with translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad. This is Adi-lila, chapter 8. The author receives the orders of Krishna and Guru. And I'll begin with verse number 40. Vrindavan Pade Koti Namaskar Anche Granta Korite Ho Tarila Samsar. I offer millions of obeisances unto the lotus feet of Vrindavan Das Thakur. No one else could write such a wonderful book for the deliverance of all fallen souls. Narayani Chaitanyara Uchishta Bhajan Tara Garbe Janmila Sridasa Vrindavan. Narayani eternally eats the remnants of the food of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur was born of her womb. Taraki Adbhuta Chaitanya Charita Varnan Jahara Shravane Shuddha Koila Tribhuvan. What a wonderful description he has given of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Anyone in the three worlds who hears it is purified. Ateva Bhajalok Chaitanya Nityananda Kandibe Samsaraduk Pabe Premananda. I fervently appeal to everyone to adopt the method of devotional service given by Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, and thus be freed from the miseries of material existence and ultimately achieve the loving service of the Lord. Vrindavanadas Koila Chaitanya Mangal Tahate Chaitanya Lila Varnila Sakal. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has written Sri Chaitanya Mangal and therein described in all respects the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. So it was previously known as Sri Chaitanya Mangal by Vrindavan Das Thakur, and later it became Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad. Sutra Kori Sablila Korila Grantan Pachi Vishtarya Tahar Koila Vivaran. He first summarized all the pastimes of the Lord and later described them vividly in detail. Chaitanya Chandrara Lila Anantapar Varnite Varnite Granta Hoila Vistar. The pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are unlimited and unfathomable. Therefore, in describing all those pastimes, the book became voluminous. Vistar Dekiya Kichu Sankocha Hoilaman Sutra Drita Kon Lila Not Koila Varnan. He saw them to be so extensive that he later felt that some had not been properly described. Nityananda Lila Varnane Hoila Avesh Chaitanya Rasesh Lila Rohila Avasesh. He ecstatically described the pastimes of Lord Nityananda, but the later pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained untold. Se sab lila shunite vivaran Vrindavana basi bhaktir utkantitaman. The devotees of Vrindaban were very anxious. The devotees of Vrindaban were all very anxious to hear those pastimes. Vrindavanai kalpa drume suvarna sadan mahajogapita tahan ratna simasan. In Vrindaban, in a great place of pilgrimage underneath the desire trees, is a golden throne bedecked with jewels. In Vrindaban, in a great place of pilgrimage underneath the desire trees, is a golden throne bedecked with jewels. Tate Basayache Sara Brajendra Nandan Sri Govinda Deva Nama Sakat Madan. On that throne sits the son of Nanda Maharaj, Sri Govinda Dev, the transcendental Cupid. Raja Seva Hoy Taha Vichitra Prakar Divya Samagri Divya Vastar Alankar. Varieties of majestic service are rendered to Govinda there. His garments, ornaments, and paraphernalia are all transcendental. Sahasra Sevaka Seva, Kori Anukan, Sahasra Bharane Seva, Najai Varnan. In that temple of Govindaji, thousands of servitors always render service to the Lord in devotion. Even with thousands of mouths, one could not describe this service. Sevara Adyakash, Sri Pandita Haridas, Tara Jasha Guna Sarva Jagate Prakash. In that temple, the chief servitor was Sri Haridas Pandit. His qualities and fame are known all over the world. Sri Haridas Pandit was a disciple of Sri Anantacharya, who was a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit. Sushila Sahishnu Shanta Varanya Gambir Madhura Vachana Madhura Cheshta Mahadir. He was gentle, tolerant, peaceful, magnanimous, grave, sweet in his words, and very sober in his endeavors. This is Sri Haridas Pandit. He was gentle, tolerant, peaceful, magnanimous, grave, sweet in his words, and very sober in his endeavors. Sabar Samana Karta Korana Sabar Hita Kautilya Matsarya Himsa Najane Tarachita. He was respectful to everyone and worked for the benefit of all. Diplomacy, envy, and jealousy were unknown to his heart. Krishnara J. Sararan Sadguna Panchas Se Sab Gunara Tara Sharire Nivas. The 50 qualities of Lord Krishna were all present in his body. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the transcendental qualities of Sri Krishna are mentioned. Among these, 50 are primary. Ayam Neta, Suramyanga, etc. And in minute quality, they were also present in the body of Sri Haridas Pandit. Since every living entity is a part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all 50 of these good qualities of Sri Krishna are originally minutely present in every living being. Due to his contact with material nature, these qualities are not visible in the conditioned soul, but when one becomes a purified devotee, they all automatically manifest themselves. This is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam as mentioned in the following text. Yashyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvar gunais tatra samasate suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manoratena sati dhavato bahi. In one who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna, all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods are consistently manifested. However, one who has no devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no good qualifications because he is engaged by mental concoction in material existence, which is the external feature of the Lord. Pandita Gosaira Sishya Nandacharya Krishna Premamoy Dhanu Udaras Sarva Arya. Anantacharya was a disciple of Gadadhara Pandit. His body was always absorbed in love of Godhead. He was magnanimous and advanced in all respects. Daharananda Guna Ke Karu Prakash Tarapriya Sishya Iho Pandita Haridas. Anantacharya was a reservoir of all good qualities. No one can estimate how great he was. Pandit Haridas was his beloved disciple. Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya, Sri Anantacharya is one of the eternal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Previously, during the advent of Lord Sri Krishna, Anantacharya was Sudevi, one of the 8 gopis. This is stated in the Gaur Ganadesha Dipika as follows: Anantacharya Goswami Ya Sudevi Pura Braje. Anantacharya Goswami was formerly Sudevi Gopi in Braja, Vrindaban. And Jagannath Puri or Purushottama Kshetra, there is a monastery known as the Gangamat Mat, which was established by Anantacharya. In the disciplic succession of the Gangamata Mat, he is known as Vinoda Manjari. One of his disciples was Haridas Pandit Goswami, who is known as Sri Raghu Gopal and as Sri Rasa Manjari. His disciple Lakshmi Priya was the maternal aunt of Ganga Mata, a princess who was the daughter of the king of Putiya. Ganga Mata brought a deity of the name Sri Rasika Rai from Krishna Mishra of Sri Ganga Mata brought a deity of the name Sri Rasika Rai from Krishna Mishra of Jaipur and installed him in the house of Sarvabhauma in Jagannath Puri. The disciple in the 5th generation after Sri Anantacharya was Sri Vana Mali. In the 6th generation, Sri Bhagavan Das, who was a Bengali. In the 7th generation, Madhusudana Das, who was an Oriya. In the 8th generation, Nilambar Das. In the 9th generation, Sri Narottam Das. In the 10th generation, Pitambar Das. And in the 11th generation, Sri Madhava Das. The disciple in the 12th generation is presently in charge of the Ganga Mata Monastery. A little historical background given there by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Chaitanya Nityananda Tara Parama Vishwas, Chaitanya Charitamrita Tara Parama Ulas. Pandita Haridas had great faith in Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. Therefore, he took great satisfaction in knowing about their pastimes and qualities. Vaishnavara Gunagrahena Dekaya Dosh Kaya Mano Bhakya Kore Vaishnava Santosh. He always accepted the good qualities of Vaishnavas and never found fault in them. He engaged his heart and soul only to satisfy the Vaishnavas. There's a qualification of a Vaishnava that he is a dosha-darshi. He never sees others' faults. Of course, every human being has both good qualities and faults. Therefore it is said, Sajjana gunam ichanti, dosham ichanti, pamara. Everyone has a combination of faults and glories. But a Vaishnava, a sober man, accepts only a man's glories and not his faults. For flies seek sores, whereas honeybees seek honey. Haridas Pandit never found fault with a Vaishnava, but considered only his good qualities. Nirantara Shune Teho Chaitanya Mangal Tahara Prasade Shunen Vaishnava Sakal. He always heard the reading of Sri Chaitanya Mangal, and all the other Vaishnavas used to hear it by his grace. Kataya Shobha Ujjwala Kore Jena Purna Chandra Nija Gunamrite Vadai Vaishnava Ananda. Like the full moon, he illuminated the entire assembly of Vaishnavas by speaking Sri Chaitanya Mangal, and by the nectar of his qualities he increased their transcendental bliss. Teo ati kripa kori agya koila more korangera seisha lila varni bharatare. By his causeless mercy, he ordered me to write about the last pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kashishvar Gosai Sishya Govinda Gosai Govindera Priya Sevak Tarash Samanai. Govinda Gosai, the priest engaged in the service of Lord Govinda in Vrindaban, was a disciple of Kashishvar Gosai. There was no servant more dear to the Govinda deity. Jadavacharya Gosai Sri Rupera Sangi Chaitanya Charite Teho Ati Bodarangi. Sri Yadavacharya Gosai, a constant associate of Srila Rupa Goswami, was also very enthusiastic in hearing and chanting about Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. Pandita Gosai Sishya Bhugarba Gosai Gora Kata Bina Ara Mukhe Anyanai. Bhugarba Gosai, a disciple of Pandita Gosai, was always engaged in topics regarding Lord Chaitanya, knowing nothing else. So Pandita Gosai is Gadadhar Pandit. Bhugarba Gosai, a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit, was always engaged in topics regarding Lord Chaitanya, knowing nothing else. Tarasishya Govinda Pujaka Chaitanya Das Mukundananda Chakravarti Premi Krishnadas. Among his disciples were Chaitanya Das, who was a priest of the Govinda deity, as well as Mukundanandana Chakravarti and the great devotee Krishnadas. Acharya Gosara Sishya Chakravarti Shivananda. Acharya Gosara Sishya Chakravarti Shivananda. Nirabadi Tarachite Chaitanya Nityananda. Among the disciples of Anantacharya was Shivananda Chakravarti, in whose heart Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda constantly dwelt. Arajata Vrindavane Vaise Bhaktigan Seisha Lila Shunite Savar Hoilaman. In Vrindaban there were also many other great devotees, all of whom desired to hear the last pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. More Agya Korila Sabek Karuna Korea Tasavar Bole Liki Nirlajya Hoya. By their mercy, all these devotees ordered me to write of the last pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because of their order only, although I am shameless, I have attempted to write this Chaitanya Charitamrita. To write about the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not an ordinary endeavor. Unless one is empowered by the higher authorities or advanced devotees, one cannot write transcendental literature, for all such literature must be above suspicion, or in other words, it must have none of the defects of conditioned souls, namely mistakes, illusions, cheating, and imperfect sense perceptions. The words of Krishna and of the disciplic succession that carries the orders of Krishna are actually authoritative. To be empowered to write transcendental literature is a privilege in which a writer can take great pride. As a humble Vaishnava, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, being thus empowered, felt very much ashamed that it was he who was to narrate the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vaishnavera Agyapaya Chintita Antare Madana Gopale Gelan Agyamagibare. Having received the order of the Vaishnavas, but being anxious within my heart, I went to the temple of Madan Mohan in Vrindaban to ask his permission also. Darshana kore koilun, Charana bandhan, Gosaidas pujari, kore charana sevan. When I visited the temple of Madan Mohan, the priest, Gosaidas, was serving the feet of the Lord, and I also prayed at the Lord's lotus feet. Prabhu charane jadi agya magila, Prabhu kanta hoite mala, kasiya pandila. When I prayed to the Lord for permission, a garland from his neck immediately slipped down. Savaishnavagan haridvani lila, Gosaidas ani mala, mora gale dila. As soon as this happened, the Vaishnavas standing there all loudly chanted, Haribo! And the priest, Gosaidas, brought me the garland and put it around my neck. Agyamalapaya amar hoilananda, tahai korinu e grantera ramba. I was greatly pleased to have the garland signifying the order of the Lord, and then and there I commenced to write this book. E grandalikaya more Madan Mohan Amara likana jaina shukera patan. Actually, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is not my writing, but the dictation of Sri Madan Mohan. My writing is like the repetition of a parrot. Se liki marana gopa je likaya, kastera putali jena, kuhake najaya. As a wooden doll was made to dance by a magician, I write as Madan Gopal orders me to do so. Kuladi Devatan Mora Kuladi Devata Mora Madana Mohan Jara Sevak Raghunatha Rupa Sanatan. I accept as my family deity Madan Mohan, whose worshippers are Raghunath Goswami, Sri Rupa Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami. Vrindavan Sripad Padma Korijan Tara Agya Loyaliki Jahate Kalyan. I took permission from Srila Vrindaban Thakur by praying at his lotus feet, and upon receiving his order, I have attempted to write this auspicious literature. Chaitanya Lila Te Vyasa Vrindavanadas Tara Kripa Bina Anye Na Hoy Prakash. Srila Vrindaban Thakur is the authorized writer on the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Without his mercy, therefore, one cannot describe these pastimes. Murka Nicha Kudra Mui Vishaya Lalasa Vaishnavagya Bole Kori Eteka Sahasra. I am foolish, lowborn, and insignificant, and I always desire material enjoyment. Yet by the order of the Vaishnavas, I am greatly enthusiastic to write this transcendental literature. Shri Rupa Raghunath Charanare Bal Jara Smriti Siddha Hoy Vanshita Sakal. The lotus feet of Sri Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami are my source of strength. Remembering their lotus feet can fulfill all one's desires. Sri Rupa Raghunath Parijara As Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishnadas. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila, 8th chapter, in the matter of the authors receiving the orders of the authorities, Krishna and Guru. Okay. Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Charavaya Nama
Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha
Charavaya Maravaya Keshavaya Nama
Yadavaya Mahavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Gopal Govinda Ram Shimaru Sudan
Gopal Govinda Ram
Hari Hari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Shanta Janardan Seva Sri Guru Bhaktivedanta Sripa Samata Sri Seva Gopala Bhaja Dasa Raguna Ekta Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jao Ekte Vignana Shavista Puran Ekta Gosai Jarmai Taradan Asavar Pada Renu Mora Panchagram Hare Charana Sevi Bhakta Saniva Janame Janame More Abhilan Ekta Gosai Jabe Bhaje Kolamas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakas Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindaban Sri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman Sri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriya Harinam Sankirtana Kohai Nara Damoda Sri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriya Harinam Sankirtana Kohai Nara Damoda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Saparikara Shri Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Tilak Neri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajaka Charya Ashtatara Sada Shri Shrimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramansa Paravajaka Charya Ashtatara Sada Shri Shrimad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivedanta Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Srila Vrindaban Das Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vishvavarenya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupad Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Kusham Ashram Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Navadev Dham Ki Jai. Shri Ram Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Koladvip Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindaban Dham Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan Sham Kuna Radha Kunda Kalindi Amuna Jo Ki Jai. Shri Purushottam Madam Ki Jai. Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Jo Ki Jai. Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya Shrina Shingadev Ki Jai. Bhakta Pravara Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj Ki Jai.